Thank you very much, Mike and Shirley, and for all of us who are here gathered this afternoon. I'm really pleased to join all of you, and I'm pleased to honor the work at not only CIW, but the Judge Marguerite Dowling, who you are going to honor today. I'm a huge supporter of rehabilitation programs and the saving of lives. I've just, for the past couple of years, as my role as a state senator, have been traveling the state looking at the impact of poverty in our state. There is an anthology out a couple of years ago talking about unequal opportunities. We've always viewed education as being the equalizer. And unfortunately, through our current economic times, that equalizer has not been what it's supposed to be. So many of us cannot bridge that divide. That's poverty on one side. Last year, the poverty tour went to look at food insecurity. Food insecurity. If you're hungry, you're poor. And it's amazing that all the philanthropy and food banks that we have in our midst only addresses about 3% of the problem. Very small part of the problem. So we have a federal government that wants to cut SNAP, which exacerbates the problem. This year we did, as a response to looking at poverty, looked at community schools. What Supervisor Antonovich was talking about is breaking down the barriers between cities and schools and nonprofits and businesses, etc., and building that village, because it takes all of us, to get out of our skin and care about the kids in our community. I spent 4 years ago, when I was in the Assembly, I spent the night at Valley State Prison. And I made it my goal, in those days, I mean, I have been in the legislature a long time, but I'm not, and I'm getting gray, but that's purposeful. I stopped dyeing my hair. Anyway, so 4 years ago, I spent the night in Valley State Prison. It was the best night for some of those women. They really wanted me to come back because the food was so great that night. But it's not, not a funny episode when you understand that so many of these women are in there for what we call non-serious, non-sex, non-violent abuses, and victims of poor self-esteem, and victims of abuse, victims of all kinds of things that most of us can't even imagine. And 70%, as Shirley said, or 75% of these women have kids. And we who do not want to put state prisons in our midst, we have a terrible public policy here. So we build state prisons out of nowhere. CIW perhaps is the exception to the rule. That was probably very vacant land many years ago. But we don't want to build these institutions in our midst. And so what happens? When 75% of these women have kids, they get separated. And who is going to drive or take these children 3 hours up to visit your mother and 3 hours back for what? For once a year? And that's what On the Bus is about. The Catholic Charities have sponsored On the Bus once a year. They're trying to do, I think they're doing it more often now, but still, it's not enough. So what we're talking about is perhaps not only dealing on the outside about what needs to be done, but on the inside was what Shirley's program is all about. It's, I'm amazed, even in our middle-class communities, like La Cañada, the churches sponsor parenting classes for middle-class families. So what's the point, what's the issue here of sponsoring programs for people who perhaps grew up in a situation which was not beneficial, did not have benefits that most middle-class families have, and to learn about that investment, that if you're going to have a child, you're going to be responsible for that child, and you're going to grow that child in a healthy environment, if all possible. So there is tremendous value in having these programs in our prisons. We're going through, and there's lots of controversy about AB 109, the program that excludes or tries to limit the folks that are going to our state prisons because we're under federal receivership, and have folks stay local. Perhaps we're in this transition about trying to figure out how to rehabilitate people. It is expensive. But, and I would say to the mayor here, you've done a wonderful job here. There's a wonderful reintegration council here in Pasadena that really tries to reach out to those who come out of prison and try to, housing jobs is one of the major issues here. And how many people hire people with felonies on their record? So it is a rethinking about what are we going to do with folks who, I'm not making excuses. There are people who are really awful, really awful, but so many folks just make bad choices in their lives, get persuaded to go down the wrong path. Unfortunately, they drag children with them. And, there is a huge number, Shirley has it up there, 6 out of 10 kids follow their parents into the jail system. I had a parent call me. She lived in La Cañada, and I don't know the crime, but she had to go to state prison. And she left a teenage son at home, and it was always the mother and the son, so I don't know what happened. I don't know about the crime. But the son, now left to his own devices, so she had her mother come out to take care of him while she was away. Well, the son didn't have a relationship like he should have had a relationship with his grandmother, and he ran away. He went to Crescenta Valley High School, then he went to the Continuation High School, and I kind of lost track of him because what he wanted was to be near his mother, who was in jail, who was under state prison. Isn't that a sad story? I know the Mormon Church helped him go down locally when his mother was in LA County, but they didn't take him up to Valley State Prison once she was transferred up there. And all he wanted to do was be near his mother. So we hear, again, many, many stories like this, and I know the person behind the next on the list, Gloria, will have the story to tell too. But Shirley's been at this for a very long time, and she cares about family, as you already heard. We all care about each other in this room. And the best way of doing that is trying to make and support changes that need to happen in our society. We need to make the connection, the dots, to make sure that we do things that are intentional and are good for everybody, not just a few. So get out of your silos. Support kids, support families, regardless of the mistakes that they have made. Because children are the most important part of this societal answer, and they need all the love and support that we can possibly give them. So thank you, Shirley, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Gloria Barrios.